What up everyone, I'm Gooshy, and in this video, we're going to be breaking down the Oni Lords. We'll go over the different types of Oni Lords, the difference in their attack patterns, and a couple of tips and tricks that might make fighting them a little bit easier. So with that, let's get started. The first type of Oni Lord that we'll go over are the ones with the shield and the spear. So these regular ones with the silver armor only have 3 moves. The first move that I'll go over is its only AoE attack. The animation starts with them lifting their shield up and spinning them so that they release these projectiles in the air. This move has a decent range, but is easily dodged if you roll out of the way and get out of its range. This move is probably the easiest to recognize as its startup animation is pretty long, but when the projectiles are launched, there's no real indication of where they'd land. The next move that they have is the one that makes them the most dangerous. This is the Unblockable Charge Attack. During this attack, they jump backwards and lunge at you with their spear. There's 2 things that make this move really dangerous. One is that it's actually an AoE attack. Towards the end of the animation, there is an explosion, which if you don't get out of the way, will hurt you. So, it usually takes more than a sidestep to fully dodge the attack. To counter this, it's actually better to roll away perpendicular to the attack angle. The second reason why this move is so dangerous is because it can hit you twice, dealing a total of 2/3 your health. Because the initial charge is one attack and the end AoE attack is another, this has the potential to do a big chunk of damage to your health. Again, this move is pretty telegraphed, but if you aren't paying attention in group fights like in survival, this may be harder to deal with. One good tip to deal with this move is to listen to the sounds. This move makes a specific sound 2 times, once when the Oni Lord jumps back, and the second when it starts its charge animation. So, even if you don't see this attack animation start, with the 2 sound cues, this should give you a general idea of the timing at which you should dodge the attack. Alright, so onto the third and final attack of this Oni Lord. This move is a 2-hit combo which can be parried. Each hit is around 25 health. If you are comfortable with parrying, this is another good way to deal with the shield Oni Lords. Usually, if you get close enough to the enemy, this is the move that gets thrown out the most often. So even if you don't perfect parry the move, getting a normal parry will throw them off balance for a second for you to get in a couple hits. It is worth noting that there are purple variations of the shield Oni Lord, but for the most part, their movesets are the same, with the only difference being the amount of health they have. So speaking of which, the next type of Oni Lord we'll go over are the Spearmen. These Oni Lords are a lot harder to deal with, mostly because they have a larger moveset, some of which are hard to predict, and have similar start animations, and their attacks do much more damage. Alright, to start it off with their first attack, which is probably what makes them so annoying, is the Teleportation Attack. This attack animation starts off with 2 poofs, but then can result in 2 different variations. The first variation is the Unblockable Overhead Attack. Similar to the Shield Oni Lord, this is also an AoE attack, so to completely avoid the attack and take no damage, you will have to dodge a significant distance away. Also, similar to the Shield Oni, again pay attention to the sound that all unblockable attacks make after it poofs back into its physical form. This is a little bit harder to predict because that unblockable sound cue does come out a little late. So to be on the safe side, I always recommend rolling away instead of sidestepping. The second variation after the poof is a simple lunge which can be parried. This variation is a lot easier to avoid because you can just sidestep in any direction or even parry the attack. However, since it's such a close start animation to the unblockable attack, you'd either need really quick reaction times to tell the difference between the different attacks, or avoid the attack altogether by dodging away. If you are confident in your reaction time and your parrying ability, make sure that you do see the enemy while they're poofing in and out, so that along with the sound cue, you do also have a visual to see if it's parryable or unblockable. Its next attack is the 4-hit combo. All 4 of these attacks can be blocked, but they do a significant amount of damage if you get overconfident and mistime the parries. Each hit of this 4-hit combo will do around 1/3 of your health, so if you're not careful and get hit by this combo, it could take you down really quickly. The next attack is a 2-hit combo. Both of these can be parried, but have a decent range. This attack does a little bit more damage as both hits take more than 2/3 of your health. However, this move does have a really long start animation. So I do think that this move does give you the biggest opening to parry or to throw them off balance to get in a couple hits. The next attack we'll go over is its Unblockable 4-hit combo. This is the most annoying attack to me because it's unblockable, it affects an AoE because it throws its spear, And the last hit is a lunge move, which covers a fair amount of distance. I usually get hit with this attack when I'm trying to get in some damage, but if you can recognize this move early, again from the unblockable sound, the first 3 twirl attacks can be avoided by a simple sidestep. The first 3 attacks don't have that much range, so a simple dodge would do as well. However, if you do dodge and you don't time it correctly, the last lunge attack will hit you. And so the Oni Lord does have a very similar attack that is unblockable and has a twirling start animation, but for some reason has really bad tracking. And most of the time this attack just moves away from you. And because these 2 unblockable moves look so similar but have drastically different outcomes, it's also again hard to determine if you should play aggressively or dodge away. So as a rule of thumb, I found that doing quick sidesteps is one way that will help you avoid most of these attacks. But I wouldn't say it's a foolproof plan. And so another common technique that I found is super similar to the Tengu counter. And this is to just simply run around the enemy. I want to emphasize in this video that of course using all your ghost weapons such as sticky bombs, dirt throws, smokes, all are way better options to take them down. But if you do not have these available and you're still waiting for a cooldown, especially if you're low in health and need to stay alive, this could be a viable option. And I found that this avoids every attack that it can throw out except one, which is the last attack I'll go over. This attack has probably the longest start animation, but tracks the best. This attack starts off with the Oni Lord spinning its spear 3 times, eventually ending with an overhead unblockable AoE attack. So if you are using the run strat just to stay alive, and the Oni Lord uses this move, a simple sidestep right before the move hits will have you avoiding damage. And so again, this isn't a foolproof plan to kill the Oni Lords, because I do think that these are the hardest enemies to take down. But I'd say the major takeaways from knowing what moves they throw out are knowing which moves leave them the most vulnerable, which is the 2-hit stab combo that can be parried, knowing the differences between moves that look similar, and finally how to survive against these enemies if you're low on health and don't have any ghost weapons available. So with that, that's everything that I learned to make fighting the Oni Lords a little bit easier. If you guys found any tips or tricks, please let me know in the comment section down below so we can spread the news and everyone can learn from it. As always, I hope you guys learned something in this video. Thank you for watching, hope to catch you next one, and GG.